You're listening to the Basketball Lab podcast with your hosts Mark Shannon, Mark Clark, and Marco Corona. They'll discuss all the top news and stories from around the basketball world while giving their opinion and insight. Now, here are your hosts.
Welcome back to another episode of the Basketball Lab podcast. I'm Mark Shannon, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Mark Clark and Marco Corona. We have another good episode for you. There's a lot of Raptor talk to talk about today. Let's jump right in, talk about the Raptors. We went from our last podcast talking about one of the highest in terms of the OG buzzer beater to Game 5 and the lowest of the lowest in a blowout loss. I don't know. You can't hit rock bottom. I think that's rock bottom for the Raptors. So what do you guys think of the last game and how this series has gone so far?
Wow. I think this series has been a roller coaster of emotions, right? I mean, game one was a wash. Game one wasn't a wash. It was just you throw out the tape. And then you could have won game two, lost by 3, right? And then the OG game, right? No, was that it? Yeah. Honestly, it's so weird because the defense has been there other than last game. I thought the defense was a little leaky, but this was just as bad as it got. Honestly, I thought I was watching, I was getting punked by the Knicks or something. It was awful. They had nothing. They had no answer. It was just straight up bad. That you said it. I think that's rock bottom, and you could only go up from here, right? And it's funny, we said in the podcast, I think it was 2 episodes ago, that there's going to be some clunkers by every team. That was an all-time gross performance. It was bad. I'm not sure what happened.
I don't know. We thought game 1 was rock bottom, but man, game 5 was a total blowout. They just weren't shooting. They weren't shooting the ball. They seem like they played the night before and they're in a back-to-back. They just weren't playing with any energy. But I knew the game was gonna. Well, I didn't know it was gonna be that bad, but I knew it was gonna go similar because Kyle Lowry didn't come out as aggressive as he did the previous 2 games, game 3 and 4. So I know it was gonna be a little bit different game than we saw the previous 2 games, but man, I didn't expect it to be that bad. It's just like they're just in no man's land. They have no clue what was going on. It was just a bad game overall, and hopefully that is rock bottom and they get better in game 6.
Well, I mean, in fairness, going back to your Kyle Lowry comments, and this is not, this segment is not brought to you by Let's Bash the Next Guy, but the next guys have to pick it up for Lowry because we saw this in the previous 100%. Game. He was the aggressor, and right, he's the quarterback of this team, right? But sometimes when your quarterback is throwing the ball a little high, your receivers got to go up and get it, right? And these guys yesterday, they didn't go up and get it. I thought it was almost like they were waiting for something to happen, and they were just sitting back, and by the time they looked up at the score clock, things sort of spun out of control. And you can say all you want about Spicy P. He was bad. Freddie was on and off. Mark seems to lost a step, unfortunately. That hurts my soul to say because you guys know how much I love that guy. I still think he's going to do some good things. But it was just everything that you threw out there just was not working. I'm not going to go as far as saying they look tired, but I'm almost questioning if they are. But at the end of the day, they had, 4 months off, right? I don't think fatigue should be an issue at this point. It can't. Kyle Lowry is not Kawhi Leonard.
You kind of got to throw out the 4 months. You got to throw that away and not even think about that, though. Right. Because Kyle Lowry's been playing 40-plus minutes every game, right? So there's going to be a little bit of fatigue there, and it's not like they're traveling or anything like that. They're playing games every other day now. So I mean, Kyle Lowry is not he's not 21 anymore. So there's going to be some fatigue, but you'd think they would come out and play a little bit better and look like they actually have their legs under them. But
Right.
I mean, as you said, Marc Gasol, we do expect a little bit more from him. He's just just can't get going in this series at all. We
It's a
see,
matchup thing.
yeah. He's not as quick as that team, right? As Tice and them other guys. He's
Right.
not as quick, which is why Mark brought up the other day in our chat to start Serge Ibaka. I mean, we did see Serge get going in a couple of games. He really basically saved the team because he was hitting threes. He was knocking down shots in the paint. He was rebounding. He was really good. But I mean, yesterday in Game 5, the Raptors basically lost that game in the first half. Just the first half, they lost that game.
Yeah.
I mean, they ended the first quarter with 11 points. You can't be scoring 11 points in the playoffs. This is the playoffs. This is next level. 11 points aren't going to cut it.
No.
And see, the thing is, you score 11 points and you try to make that up, it's too late. And that's exactly what happened. They lost the first and second quarter, which is the first half, and they came back and they won the second half, but it was too late. They were down too deep. They dug too deep of a hole for them to dig themselves out of in the next 24 minutes.
Yeah. It's when you and Shannon, I think that you will agree with this. Like in any sport, and you too, Clark, is when you start chasing the game, right? Especially teams that play certain ways, certain system. I'm not saying that that's how they do it, but when you start chasing the game, you get out of sync, and then all of a sudden you start doing things that are out of character, right? Because let's face it, the way this team is built, they're built to get ahead and protect the lead. The way they play, the way they're constructed. Now, can they do comebacks? Yeah, of course they can shoot when the three's falling and there's certain matchups, but they were just. The hole was so deep, Mark, to your point. You score 11 in the first quarter. Now you're just chasing the game, right? And now you're just shooting bricks. You're just doing things that are out of sort. And like you said, when you look up in the halftime, you're down, what were they down by 20 plus, right? It's hard to do it that way.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know we don't want to get on certain things. I know, and Raptor fans, they complain about the refs and this and that. I mean, you can complain about the refs all you want. The refs didn't help Boston win that game. The Raptors helped Boston win that game. They just couldn't shoot. They weren't attacking the basket. You're not going to get fouls if you're going to stand at the 3-point line taking 3-point shots.
Right.
And I mentioned it in the group chat like the other day. Same thing. Man, it's like they get into a thing where it's like, okay, we got to just jack up 3-point shots, 3-point shot after 3-point shot. You're not the Houston Rockets. You're not going to hit every 3-point shot. So I know the Rockets has made that, faux pas, and everybody wants to do that and take a lot of shots and stuff like that. But you got to start attacking the basket. And you saw it when Pascal Siakam was attacking the basket earlier on in the third quarter or whatever it was. He was getting to the hoop. He was getting fouled. You were getting points. I mean, let's keep it on Siakam. I mean, we don't want to talk about trading him. No one's saying that. Is he going to be that elite player? We don't know.
Some are.
Yeah, some are. But I mean, Siakam, he has to play 10 times better than what he's playing. He's supposed to be your de facto number one guy. You can't be a number one guy and put up 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And Matt Thomas plays 18 minutes, puts 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. And he shoots the same as you. I mean, he got open shots. It was garbage time. I get it. But Siakam has to be a lot more aggressive going to the hoop. and stop shooting from the 3-point line so much. I know he only had 2 shots, but he only took 9 shots in the last game. And then Kyle Lowry can't be the one to. You can't always want Kyle Lowry to put the shoulder to load, get to the hoop, draw the fouls. Fred VanVleet, the other guys, Norman Powell. Like,
Who?
buddy, I don't understand. He had 16 points, but I mean, he goes to the hoop and it's like he goes up for a layup and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna just softly lay it up there. Buddy, dunk the ball, go up hard. Take a hit, take a foul. It's like they're playing soft. They don't want to get hit. I'm going to say it. I don't care. It's like they're playing soft. They're playing soft on the offensive end. They don't want to get hacked. They don't want to take it to the hoop. They want to stay at the 3-point line and shoot 3-pointers and try and win the game. And I know they have to shoot a lot of 3-pointers to try and get back into the game later on in the game. But at the beginning of the game, you shouldn't be shooting so many 3-point and not going to the hoop. They had 12 points in the paint in the first half.
Yeah, I got it. I agree with you, Mark. They're playing soft. They need to be more aggressive. They really do need to be more aggressive.
My God. They're playing soft. Hold on. Let me cut you off for 1 second. Are you saying they're playing soft or they are soft? Because I think those are 2 big differences.
No, they're playing soft.
They're playing soft.
Yeah,
I completely agree with you guys. All joking aside, and sorry to cut you off.
They're soft.
Yeah,
if they're soft, that's a completely different story.
No,
because it's almost soft. Like there's a hesitation, right? There's no nasty. And a few weeks ago when we started this podcast, right? I don't know if you guys remember. I used the again. I have to use it again. The wrestling reference.
Yeah.
You have to be the team that you don't want to play against. You have to be a little nasty. The Raptors are babyface, which means everybody likes them. They're cute. They're nice guys. Stop being nice guys. If Marcus Smart is, throwing himself out there and being a mouthpiece, and I mean, the only nasty thing we saw in the last game was Pascal Siakam turning to Shawn Michaels and sweet chin music. Was it Tice, right? But that's as bad as it got. Other than that. Yeah, I agree. Sorry to cut you off because I just wanted to make sure that.
I'm not calling them soft in terms of the team. Like before the pandemic and they weren't before the stoppage. They're a hard team to play against. They got to the line. They got to the free throw line. They were willing to take the bumps and the lumps to get those things. Now it's like they're afraid to go into the hoop. And maybe that's because Boston has played really, really good defense. And I'm not going to knock Boston's defense. Boston has played really good defense. You have to play through that, though. You have to get to the hoop. You have to drive to the hoop. It doesn't matter if you're going to get blocked or not. And you have to go to the hoop. You have to draw fouls, get to the free throw line. Free baskets are key. You have to get to the bonus. If you're not getting to the bonus, the team's got 3 fouls at the end of the first quarter, end of the second quarter. You're not getting to the bonus. You're not getting any extra free shots. And then you're relying on your 3-point shot. You're relying on your big guys to put the basketball in the basket, and that's what's happening with the Raptors. They're relying on their big guys to score and to do so much. You have the makeup of this team and the staple of this team is that they're a deep team. They need more than one person scoring at a time. They can't have one guy scoring 10 points, and he's supposed to be your de facto number 1 guy. Marc Gasol, love the guy. He hasn't hit a 3-pointer in any Boston game this series. Like, come on, Mark. Yeah. You got to start hitting some shots, especially if Ibaka's out next game. He's going to be counted on a lot more.
He's getting wide open looks, too.
Yeah. He's going to be counted on a lot more, too, especially going forward in this series. If it goes 7 games and Ibaka doesn't play in Game 6, he's going to be required to start playing a little bit more minutes than what he's playing.
How 2020 is this, right? We are now at the point in this Raptors franchise history that we are now giving Kyle Lowry a pass and now putting the pressure on everybody else. How about that, eh? Like, we've come a long way from those teams that it was Kyle Lowry or, bust. Yeah. Now it's like, no, Kyle Lowry cannot do it all. He shouldn't do it all. Now, I do agree with you. Pascal has he has not been the same guy. I think he's averaged in the teens since the bubble, right? He's had maybe 2 good games in the the restart. Um, I'm not going to say I'm going to give him a pass, but I almost have to, because 3 years ago, this guy was a bench player. Then he went from he went G League bench starter de facto number 1. So, and he hasn't been playing basketball for that long. Now, again, I'm not going to try to be that guy who defends Pascal, because at the end of the day, he has to play better. His teammates have to make sure he gets the ball a lot more and in positions that he can succeed. Again, the 3-point thing, I don't understand it. He shouldn't be jacking up 11 threes, because guess what? They're just going to let you shoot it.
Yeah.
You're not making them right now. You're shooting 15% from downtown. Stop it. And unless
It's
you're making them, don't. When Pascal Siakam, and we have had this conversation probably individually or together at different occasions, when he's down low and he has a mismatch, or for the most part, even the same sort of guy defending, it's very difficult to defend him, because he's got quick feet, he's got length, he's got athleticism. I just don't know why he's not using it right now. Maybe his confidence is a little bit down the tank right now, because he's never got it going again. But he's got to go back to basics, because when he's on, he is hard to defend. I'm telling you this right now. Watch the film. He's hard to defend.
It's definitely sorry. It's definitely a confidence thing. For some reason, he has lost his confidence, and he's having a hard time
pressure.
Getting it back. Maybe he's putting too much pressure on himself. And you kind of see it in his gameplay too. He's forcing his shots. He's not letting the game come to him. He's kind of hunting it down, and it's not working out. I mean, a prime example, he'll get the ball at the top of the key. He'll try to drive in the paint. He gets cut off by Jalen and Smart, or Jalen and Tatum, and he pulls it out back to the top of the key and take a 3. No, like, throw the ball to someone else, reset, and try again. Don't just settle for the 3 because you got cut off the first time. Drive the ball, force the refs to make a call.
Yeah.
And that's how you get it going. But he's just settling for the 3 as soon as he gets cut off the first time.
And like I said, you got to give credit to the Celtics defense. I know we don't want to give them credit for what it is, but at the end of the day, they've shut down that paint. They've dared the Raptors, hit your threes, and the Raptors haven't been hitting their threes. You know, game 4, they hit the 3. They were hitting the 3-pointers. They were getting more open looks and hitting the threes. Game 5 was more of the same. It was more of the, jacking it up, open shots, back iron, front iron. I don't know. They've got to start going back to that aggressive style. And like you said, the wrestling analogy, they have to get nasty. They have to get in there, and they have to make the Celtics hit them, take the lumps, take the bumps, make them get into foul trouble. Jaylen Brown got into foul trouble in Game 4, and look what happened with the Raptors. Siakam got into foul trouble in the first game. Powell got into foul trouble. Look what happened. You get guys into foul trouble, they have to go to their bench. Boston doesn't want to go to their bench. They don't really trust their bench.
Nope.
They stick with the same 6-7 guys. They don't want to trust their bench. Make them go to the bench. That's what the Raptors have to do. And like you said, like I said, the Boston doesn't trust their bench. They don't want to have other guys come out there that can't defend the Raptors. And we saw that in Game 4 with Brad Stevens making a weird choice there to put out a guy, and Siakam took advantage of it. Yep. And that's what the Raptors have to do. They have to take advantage of the mismatches. And Lowry and Van Vliet said it the other day or yesterday that they got to put Siakam in better positions to score. Put him in the post up against, Brown, Tatum, or smaller guys. Make them back in, go to the hoop.
Yeah, live at the free throw
points out
line,
that.
right?
Yeah,
Live
exactly.
at the free throw line. Listen, I wore this shirt for a reason. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's Tupac, right? Shout out to my guy. It says, all eyes on me, right? And that's what Pascal Siakam is going to be. It's going to be all eyes on him, whether he likes it or not. Now, again, he doesn't need to be the guy who scores 45 points. It doesn't have to be that way. It's not about that, right? It's about a little bit more balance. Because to your point, once this team is balanced, they're really hard to defend because now you don't know, like, okay, Pascal's going to have 25 and then Freddie's going to have 18 and Lowry's going to have, his 17 and 10 or whatever the case is. And then Ibaka sprinkles in with your 12 or 15 and Mark with his 10 and his assists and whatnot. However, I just want to reset to the bench thing for 1 second because I think I think the one other guy that has gotten some sort of pass for whatever reason is your boy Norm Powell. And I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if he got the wrong address. I'm not sure what's going on with that kid. We know what he can do. Again, it's not he has to be Norm Powell, give me 25 points, but he's not scaring anybody right now.
Yeah.
He's almost like coming in and just eating minutes until the next guy gets enough rest so he can come out. And by the time the other guy comes in, or whoever it is, whether it's Freddie or Lowry, whoever the other guard is, he's got 3 fouls.
Yep.
He's giving you nothing. Those 16 points to me were garbage points, right? Yep. Those were just I got my 16 because they don't mean anything, right? And he's not giving you anything right now. If we're comparing 10 points by Matt Thomas to Pascal Siakam, then we have a problem.
Yep.
Right? And we're to that point right now. And I think it's all hands on deck. I think, if Ibaka doesn't play, then you're probably going to see a little bit of Bonjour, right? Boucher.
It's not a bad thing, though.
No, it's not a bad thing because he's a freak of nature. Absolutely,
yeah,
right?
He brings in a lot of energy.
It's a change of speed, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he stays on the board. He's always getting rebounds, always getting those putback balls. So that's not a bad thing to see Chris Boucher come in the game.
I don't mind that.
You remember earlier in the season when Pascal was getting a lot of fouls in like early?
Yep, I remember this.
You remember the coaches had a talk with him, let him watch some tape, and then he was
they told
good.
him to cut it out.
They need to have that talk with the entire team. They need to have that talk with the starting lineup. It's true. I mean, like Fred's getting 3 fouls by the second quarter. Laurie has 3 fouls. Everyone has 3 fouls, and it's kind of forcing Nick Nurse's hand, right? Because he got to take them out. He got to gamble and play with them in there with that. So giving fouls. That's a problem.
Right.
And then they're complaining because they've only gone to the line 17 times while the next team been to the line 27 times. But, stop fouling. It's simple. I mean, it's not that simple, but they need to reduce the fouls that they're giving. And so they need to have that thought. They need to watch some tape. They need to try to do better with regards to that. And again, they're not going to the line as often as the next team. They're missing threes, and they're also missing free throws.
Yep.
Like you
perfect storm.
Something's got to give. You got to make free throws. I think the first 2 games, well, not the first 2 games, but I think game 2, they could have won that game if they've made all the free throws they got. It's
lost by 3, so yeah.
They could have won that game. Well, just make free throws.
They're called free throws for a reason. They're free points, man. Free points.
Yeah.
You gotta cash free points.
It's crazy, man.
Well, the Raptors like to do things the hard way, right? So I still like their chances in saying all that weird negative stuff, but I mean, it was an ugly game. I still like their chances. Yeah. They are the champs until further notice. And I think game 6 is going to be basically empty the tank. And then game 7, it's a coin toss, right? Yeah. It's who can execute. I don't even know if it's about executing. It's just about playing. And then it's going to come down likely to the last possession, right? Foul, free throws, turnovers, right? But you have to get to game 7 first. And this is it. This is your season right here. Never mind Game 7. This is your season right here. You win tomorrow night, Game 6, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Right? You get a clean slate.
Tomorrow is a
One
must.
chance.
Tomorrow is a must win for them. And I mean, I'm totally convinced that this team loves playing from behind. Like their back has to be against the wall for them to come out and play aggressive and win games. So hopefully that's the case tomorrow, and they'll come out. I mean, it's a must win for them. So
It's not good
I
for my
mean,
heart, though.
it's not. It's not. And I mean, come on, they must have one good game off the series.
Yep.
You mean to tell me this one good game can't be coming tomorrow? It
They
has
do.
to be.
Somebody's
They're
due.
due for a good game, like good shooting, good defense, just a good overall game. They haven't had that yet in this series.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Moving on, we'll move on to the Western Conference here. Clippers Nuggets. I mean, we never really gave our predictions on the Western Conference because it started late due to the fact that the stoppage there by the boycott. But this series, for me, I think it's going to go the distance. I think it's going to go 7 games. I like both teams. Pat Beverley could talk all his crap about Nikola Jokic, the flopping, when Pat Beverley's one of the biggest floppers in the NBA. I mean, so nobody wants to really hear anything that Pat Beverley has to say. But this series to me is going to be the most exciting. Is going to be one of the most exciting series behind the Raptors Celtics series to me, as that's right now. They're two good teams. I just don't think the Nuggets have the depth to fully handle going 7 games with the Clippers. I hope they do. I really do. I hope they do, and I hope they knock off the Clippers just to shut up Pat Beverley. That would be just icing on the cake for most NBA fans who don't like Pat Beverley.
Denver, please save us all. Please. I am asking you, but it's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I like, the Clippers are going to eventually win this series. I think I agree. It goes the distance, but it goes the distance because Denver has nothing to lose. Yeah. Denver is not supposed to beat the Clippers. The Clippers everybody's penciled them in, or depending on who you talk to be in the Western Conference Finals against the Lakers, right? So pretty much everybody has written Denver off.
Yeah.
So they have nothing to lose, and I think they're going to give the Clippers a run for their money and extend this series longer than people expect, which, by the way, is an advantage to the Lakers. The more you see these teams, the more they get exposed. Mind you, I know they play each other a lot because they're in the same division and conference, but I think Denver is going to do the Lakers a favor and extend this series. Of course, if the Lakers do what they need to do. But it's exciting because you can see the free flow and the Denver Nuggets, how they play. It's fun, and I like Jokic, and obviously our boy from K-Town, Jamal Murray. Like I said, they have nothing to lose. The Clippers, there's a lot of pressure on them. I'll tell you what, for a team that doesn't have a banner, they talk a lot of trash.
Yeah.
Outside of Kawhi, holy crap, man! Like, dude, I have more banners than you guys, and you guys still talk all that shit. Like,
yeah,
they're the most I think the most unlikable team in the bubble.
Probably are.
Yeah, hands down. I mean, who the hell likes the Clippers? Who the hell liked the Clippers before the bubble? Like,
the Clippers.
Yep, exactly. Who the hell liked the Clippers before Kawhi went there? Not really anybody.
Right. I think most people were surprised that LA had a second team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said it.
I mean, you've said it all, Marco. There is not much more that I can add to that. I mean, it's going to go the distance. I would love Denver to come out, but we all know that's not going to happen. Clippers will take the series, but I'm saying Clippers in 7. Yeah, you're right. They just talk so much, and I guess they're just going off the 2 rings that Kawhi has. That's basically it. They're just using Kawhi to back their argument with all the talks that they have,
Sure.
basically.
Your
Because they
best
don't really
player,
have anything else. What they have, 6
your
minutes
best
a year,
player
that's all.
says nothing. The guy doesn't do anything, and then he's blocking people with his middle finger, right? And then you just walk
That's
away like a boss,
insane.
right? That's insane. That's crazy. And everybody else just does the chirping and the talking. That's going to catch up to the Clippers. I know it is, and I hope it is, because I have no enjoyment in watching a team that's never done anything relevant.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. Nuggets in 7. Nuggets in 7.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna.
It's on the record. Remember this.
It's on the record. I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't care.
Bro.
I don't care if I'm
really
wrong.
hope so.
I don't care if I'm wrong. I just hope that's the case. And maybe I'll go put some money on this after the game, after this podcast.
I'll tell you what. If the Nuggets win in 7, I will have a Coors Light, because they have the mountains and on the next podcast. How about that?
Hey, okay. We'll hold you. That's recorded, so we'll hold you to that.
Fine. Go ahead. Okay.
I mean, maybe I'll join you. Yeah,
Since we're not going to be doing shots for the Raptors in 6 anymore, so
yeah,
we might as well, right?
I did say Raptors in 7, though. Remember that?
Yeah, I said 6.
You said 6? Yeah, sorry
Remember
about that.
we were supposed to do shots if they did win in 6?
Yeah.
Yeah, not happening.
No.
Not happening.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
I'm not sure if you guys just saw that breaking news just now, but Billy Donovan in OKC, apparently he will not return to OKC.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was breaking news 2 minutes ago. Apparently he will not be returning to OKC for next season.
Oh my goodness.
Ben, Mark, your thoughts with their OKC hat on there?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's pretty surprising. I know his contract was over. I know it was expired. But from what I'm reading here, it looks like they reportedly decided again, both sides didn't want to pursue a new deal. So there's some openings there.
Philly.
Openings there.
That's my thought right there. Philly. I think that could be
Philly line 1.
But it's surprising though. It's very surprising for him to want to move to, like there's a good thing going in OKC, in my opinion. Like there's a good thing going. But like, who the hell do you bring in to replace him after the season that he just had?
Wow. That one. Okay, first of all, shout out to you, Clark, for breaking the news as we are literally recording this. That's stuck on that, ESPN. Well, it was Woj that probably reported this, right?
It was.
Okay, so then we need a couple of hours to confirm if it's true. Now, I said it. Wow. Are some teams now kicking themselves for hiring guys a little bit too early? Like if I'm Philadelphia, I'm calling right now, at least to, test the waters. I don't know what he's looking for. I'm sure there'll be other openings. Pacers haven't hired a guy yet, correct? Wow. This is unreal.
Must be a reason
this
why.
Team was supposed to be a lottery team, and you're not going to pay the guy? Something's off there. Something's definitely off. Wow.
A ton of draft picks too, but I mean,
we have draft picks until like 2045.
Yeah, first round picks. But this shows that there is something going on that he knows about, right? Obviously, there is he either wants to go somewhere else or something else is going on that obviously we don't have the information on. Why he or both of them mutually decided not to pursue a new contract.
Well, it's funny because I think a few weeks ago we talked about, and I think I even said I wouldn't be surprised if Billy Donovan was the coach of the year. Yeah. And now they don't re-sign the same guy.
Man,
that's
I don't know.
Bizarre.
It's very surprising that that would be the case. I mean, unless he's planning on going back to college basketball, but. I think Philly's that choice there. It's a
line 1 is lighting up right now.
It could be it might be a mouth-watering option for him in terms of Embiid and Simmons. Maybe he's able to get them playing together. I don't know, but the last thing I want to touch on though, the NBA all defensive teams.
Oh,
I mean, like, come on, like, who's voting for these things?
Patrick
I don't
Beverley.
get it.
How
I was just gonna say Pat Beverly, really?
like seriously?
Come on now.
But not even Pat Beverly. Like, man, there's so many guys that could have not been on that team. Like Marcus Smart, he's great, but like, fuck. Kyle Lowry leads the league in charges, and the Raptors are the third best team in the NBA. And he finished outside with only 23 total points in terms of receiving votes. Like Chris Dunn finished ahead of him. Like Chris Dunn, and he played on Chicago. Like I just don't.
You see this?
I know.
The camera is not frozen. I'm actually have no reaction.
I just don't understand. It just makes absolute no sense to me.
I don't get it either. I don't get it either. Like, how is it that Pat Beverly and Bledsoe made this team? Like, I don't get it.
Joe,
Was it Bledsoe or Middleton?
No, Bledsoe made it. So
Wow.
The first team was Rudy Gobert, Antetokounmpo, Anthony Davis, Marcus Smart, and Ben Simmons. Okay, you know what? Gobert, Antetokounmpo, Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Shoo-ins. Obviously, they were defensive MVPs, like defensive player of the year nominees. Marcus Smart, don't get me wrong, he's a great player. He's a flopper, but he's a great player. Ben Simmons, another guy, but he's great defensively, but he's not like all-world defensive. The second team was Brook Lopez from the Bucks, Kawhi Leonard. Like,
how is Kawhi
Leonard
team?
On the second team? But he's on the second team because he doesn't fit in because Anthony Davis and Antetokounmpo are your forwards. That's why Kawhi Leonard doesn't fall in that category. Bam Adebayo, Eric Bledsoe, and Pat Beverly are your all defensive second teams. I mean, I just don't understand how a guy like I said, it's just Brad Stevens mentioned it. Kyle Lowry's just underrated, man. He's a star player on a team. He leads the team. He's what? How old is he? 35 years old.
Yeah.
And he leads the league in charges.
I'm glad you brought that up, Mark. I was gonna ask: is Kyle Lowry the most underrated player in the league today?
I don't know about most underrated. But definitely, he's definitely one of the most underrated players. I don't know about
top five for sure.
Yeah, he's definitely top 5 underrated players in the NBA for sure. And maybe this is a topic we can choose for another day, but
we will.
Yeah, we could spend a whole segment on that. But definitely he's top 5 in terms of that, like what he's been able to do since coming here for the Raptors. They lumped him in with DeRozan. He was always the second fiddle to DeRozan. He was the second fiddle to Kawhi. He's still not the star player, like the number one de facto player. Like they've given that mantle to Siakam. With all due respect, Siakam has earned it this season in terms of the way he played during the season. The playoffs, he hasn't earned that. But Kyle Lowry had his playoff mishaps too early on in his Raptor career. So hopefully Siakam can turn it around in terms of that. But Lowry, to me, is hands down probably the best Raptor to ever wear a Raptor jersey, in my opinion.
If it weren't for Lowry, though, the Raptors would have gotten swept this series.
Oh, yeah, hands down.
Yeah. But back to the all-defensive team, there are 4 players right now that I would replace with OG Anunoby. Like Pat Beverly, Bledsoe, Simmons, and Marcus Smart. I'd replace them with OG Anunoby right now, which I don't understand who is picking these teams.
See, but that's the thing. Like, I don't. There's no way I'd replace them with OG. I mean, I love OG, but I mean, he's not an all.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't think yet.
Kyle Lowry hands
for sure.
Got to be included instead of one of those guys. You could even make a case for Fred VanVleet. He's been a good defender this year, but they're not. I don't think OG's at that level yet. I think he still needs a couple more years to develop into that kind of player. He's a great defensive player. He has lapses still. That's why I wouldn't put him in there. But I think
he's on his way.
Yes, he's definitely on his way.
Yeah,
he's definitely
sure.
on his way to being in the all defensive category for sure.
Oh, let me ask you: so you would pick Pat Beverley over OG right now?
I mean, yes.
That's my point. Yes,
I would.
You're going with Pat Beverley.
I would.
Wow.
I know.
That's
I love.
crazy.
Don't get like I said. I love OG, but I mean, I just don't think he's there yet. I don't think he's at that level yet.
I gotta disagree with you on that one. I can't pick Pat Beverley over OG when we've seen what OG can do defensively.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I think that the question's a bit unfair because the question should be, would you pick Pat Beverley over Kyle Lowry, right? Based on position and what they guard.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to say it, and I know I'm going to get flack for this, but I think that Patrick Beverley is as overrated as they come, because the only reason we talk about Patrick Beverley is because Patrick Beverley talks a lot about Patrick Beverley and how good he is.
Yep.
So eventually people are actually going to start buying his BS.
Yep.
Right? I'm not saying that the guy is not a good basketball player. I'm not saying that at all. But come on, like it's a bit much. Like, you telling me that Patrick Beverley is doing more, or like as far as Lowry, if you put them side by side? Because if that's the argument, they're pretty much the same player.
Yeah.
Right? And
they're not even comparable though.
No, but what I'm saying is if you're talking about a guy who's a pest, a guy who gets under your skin and this and that, Kyle Lowry does that with less talking.
Yeah.
Right now, he talks a lot to the refs, and that's what drives people nuts. But Patrick Beverley is doing pretty much the same thing. So why wouldn't you? I don't understand. And Lowry has a ring. What does Patrick Beverley have? Does he have a ring from somebody else, or like get out of here? I don't know. I think
just mouth. That's all.
I think it has more to do with where he plays. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah. No, I agree, and that's the thing. Like we said about Kyle Lowry being underrated.
Yeah. Switch cities, and Lowry's in that position.
Yep.
Trust me. Oh, man, what a week.
Yeah. No, it's definitely been it's been a crazy week.
We got heated today.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Basketball Lab podcast. Thanks for joining us this week on the Basketball Lab podcast. Make sure to follow us on our social media. You could follow us on Instagram at _basketball lab, on Twitter at @BBallLab. You could also subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Basketball Lab, and you could find us on iTunes and Spotify.